How to stop pornography cravings instantly. Now, this one method that I'm going to be teaching you today can get rid of any temptation, any urge, any craving to go back to pornography and masturbation. Now, you might be wondering right now, what the heck is this method? Now, I call this the 5-wall method. Now, if this sounds confusing to you, stay with me and I'm going to go ahead and explain how it works. So the most common question that I get asked is, how do I stop temptation? How do I stop these urges? How do I stop from, getting this intense feeling to go back to pornography and masturbation? I always ask that person, hey, do you have a strategy in place to, conquer these temptations and conquer these urges? And they're always like, well, I try to go outside. Well, I try to call my friend. And the strategy that they have in place is never concrete. It's never really effective. So I wanted to make this video for you guys so that you guys can have an effective way of quitting. Now, I do want to note as well, just because you have a strategy in place, that does not mean that your addiction will go away. In fact, you're far from it. But knowing how to deal with temptation is absolutely crucial on this journey, because if you don't know what to do, you're going to relapse all the time. This is going to be a spiraling cycle over and over and over and over again. So this method, the 5-wall method, the way that it works is basically we have 5 strategies to quit pornography and masturbation, or to get rid of the urge to go back to pornography and masturbation. Now, the way that the walls work is, if the first wall doesn't work, then the second wall will work. If the second wall doesn't work, the third wall will work. The third wall doesn't work, fourth wall will work. Fourth wall doesn't work, the fifth wall will absolutely work. And that is how the 5-wall strategy basically goes. Now, the first wall that I suggest to every single person I help is the wall of routine. Now, the wall of routine basically states that before you even start off your day, you need to have a set routine in place. You need to plan your day. There's a quote by Thomas Edison that says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So if you're not already planning your days out and you're trying to quit pornography and masturbation, it's going to be really hard to do so, because I know there's a lot of people who find themselves in situations where, they don't really know what to do throughout the day, and they go to social media because of it, because they're bored, and then they go to social media, they get tempted, one thing happens, one thing leads to another, and then they go to pornography, and then they masturbate, and then they go ahead and relapse. That is what happens to a lot of people that don't plan their days, and that they don't have anything productive set in stone before their day even begins. So if you're looking to get a competitive edge on your porn-free journey, and you're looking to quit this for good, you need to be planning your days. So that is the first wall. Make sure every single day that you have a set plan every single day, every single hour of the day. I would recommend leaving, some downtime towards the end of the day, usually at the last hour or the last 2 hours of your day before you go to bed. Just kind of have some chill time, kind of have some free time so that you don't get burned out. Because I know that a lot of people, they plan their days, they plan every single hour of the day. They think they need to be productive throughout this recovery process, and then they get burned out because they're just trying to do too much. So I would recommend, to avoid that from happening, 1 to 2 hours out of the day towards the night, kind of have a little bit of a rest time, right? That does not mean, rest time does not mean scrolling on social media the whole entire time, right? Rest time doesn't have to mean that you need to watch TV shows and YouTube and waste your time. You can, read the Bible. You can read another book, right? You can, learn a little bit of something, right? Call a friend, connect with other people. Now, wall number 2. And by the way, wall number 1, the wall of routine, will get rid of most temptation. But if that doesn't work out right, we go on to the next wall. And the wall number 2 is the wall of reaffirming. Now, one of my mentors said, if your why don't make you cry, why even try? You need to have a strong why to why you are trying to quit pornography and masturbation, because if you don't have a strong why, man, you're going to end up relapsing over and over and over again. Because if you don't have a clear-cut why to why you're doing this, and motivation to why you want to get this out of your life in the first place, it's just not going to end up working out. So let me say that again. If your why doesn't make you emotional, if your why don't make you cry, why even try? If your why does not make you tear up because it's so emotional, you need to rethink your why. And every single person has a strong why within them. And I wish I could tell you what yours is, but for every single person, it's different. And the only person who can really find out your strong why to why you want to quit is yourself. So I encourage you to look into this a little bit more. Why do you actually want to quit? And I also want to state as well, as humans, we're actually twice as motivated to run away from fear than we are to run towards our pleasure. So what does that mean? We're way more motivated to think to ourselves, man, if I don't quit pornography within the next 50 years, I might even die because of a porn addiction. That is way more motivating to me than if, I quit pornography, I'm going to get more confidence, What's way more motivating, right, is, hey, if I don't quit pornography and masturbation, I'm never gonna get in a relationship, or I'm gonna get a divorce because of this. That's way more motivating to me than my marriage will thrive or I'll get a relationship, at least for me. And that's the case for most people. We're twice as motivated to run away from pain than we are to run towards pleasure. So as you're thinking of your why, make sure to keep that in mind and make sure to utilize that pain within your life so that you can get motivated to quit this once and for all. Let's move on to the third method, the wall number 3, wall of physical effort. Now, if those two things don't work, we move on to the wall of physical effort. Now, you need to get your blood flow moving in this stage. You need to do some push-ups. You need to do some sit-ups, some burpees, whatever, pumps up your heart, whatever gets your blood flow moving. Because I know a lot of people who, they have too much energy, and the reason they have so much temptation is because when you abstain and you retain from pornography and masturbation, you just get so much energy, right? You need to transmute that energy into something like exercise or something creative. But in the middle of temptation, like the quickest thing that you could do is drop down, do some push-ups, drop down, get your blood flow moving, right? Start to get moving, because if we're stagnant the whole entire time, it's going to be way easier for us to get into pornography and masturbation. If that doesn't work, we move on to the fourth wall. Now, the fourth wall is the wall of escape. You need to leave your environment. And going back to scripture, going all the way back to Genesis, if we look at the story of Joseph and Potiphar's wife, when Joseph is tempted to sleep with Potiphar's wife, he literally takes off and runs away from the situation, runs away from his environment. So what can we take out of that story? We need to escape our environment in the moment of temptation. If we're not feeling good, right? If we're feeling like we're about to give in, literally just take off from your environment, leave your environment, escape your environment, and that does a whole lot for you. Don't even entertain this. Don't even try to think that you can fight it off, right? Go ahead and just leave your environment. And that is the fourth wall. If you've already done that and that doesn't work, wall number 5 is the wall of porn blockers. This is where we have a porn blocker in place to prevent you from looking at pornography. But I guarantee you, if you do those 4 things, you will already have, for 99% of temptation, you will already have overcome it, right? Let's go over it again really, really quickly. So wall number 1 is the wall of routine. Make sure to have a set in place routine within your life if you're trying to quit this once and for good, because if you don't have a set routine, it's going to be very easy for you to have a lot of free time. Idle hands leads to sin. Idle hand leads to lust. It leads to so many things that we do not want. So stay busy on this journey. And the way that you stay busy is to plan your day in advance and put in a lot of productive things within your calendar. If that doesn't work out at the very beginning of your day and you get a temptation later on, reaffirm to yourself, why are you doing this? And again, if you don't have a strong why, this is not going to be very effective. This is only for people who have a very strong why. And again, a great way to measure if your why is good or not, if it makes you emotional, then your why is good. If it doesn't make you emotional, then it's probably not the best why that you can come up with. Again, if your why don't make you cry, why even try? If that doesn't work out in the moment of temptation, we go on to the third wall of physical effort. Get your blood flow moving. Start doing something. Start shaking, right? Start doing push-ups, start doing burpees, start doing squats, whatever you have to do in order to get your blood flow moving. If that does not work out, wall number 4 is the wall of escape. Leave your environment immediately. And if that doesn't work out, that's why we have the wall of porn blockers, to help you and prevent you from going to pornography and masturbation. So that is what I call the 5 wall method. So basically, in one method, we have 5 strategies in place to help you with these temptations. Now, the reason why I want you guys to have a set in stone strategy to get rid of these temptations is because if you don't have a strategy, right, and you get a temptation, you're kind of more so in like this split mindset whenever you're in a temptation. So what I mean by split mindset is kind of like the angel and the devil on your shoulder, right? The angel is telling you don't go to pornography. The devil's telling you go to pornography. But your mind can't think clearly when you have a temptation. Your mind is all over the place. It can't think clearly. So what is it going to do? What's it going to default to? It's going to default to pornography. It's going to default to masturbation because it doesn't know what to do, right? Your mind doesn't know what to do. But if you pre-establish that you're going to go into this 5 wall method before the temptation even comes, you're already prepared and you already know what to do. So you can start going through your 5 walls, making sure everything is good to go. And eventually, before you know it, the temptation is over and you've already overcome it. But if you don't come prepared, if you don't come with a plan, it's going to be very easy for you to fall into temptation and fall into pornography and masturbation. Remember, guys, Thomas Edison said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Plan how to deal with temptation before it even happens. Plan your day before it even happens, and I promise you, you will see way better results on your porn-free journey. So guys, hopefully this video was helpful. If this helped you guys, go ahead and drop a thumbs up. And if you need more help on your porn-free journey, I went ahead and created a free training on the one simple human desire that allowed me to quit pornography and masturbation in just 14 days. If you want that free training, go ahead and click the link in my bio down below, and I'll go ahead and see you there. But guys, if you like this too, go ahead and subscribe, go ahead and hit the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.